Welcome to Redtastic. Story 1. Hey there, I'm Chloe, 25 female. I've been through some tough situations lately, and one of them is getting to me. I need your advice on what to do. So here is what happened. 4 years ago, my fiancé, let's call him Delroy, 28 male, and I graduated from college together. We met in college anyway, and that's how our relationship started. He proposed in our last year in college and promised that we would get married right after graduation. My parents and his parents were aware of our relationship and also gave their consent, and there was so much involved in our marriage plans. But some months after graduation, Delroy never really talked about anything concerning our marriage plans. All he kept saying was how he wanted to do his master's. He sometimes would say the money he was earning would double up if he was done with his master's, and we would have a more luxurious wedding than what we initially planned for. Well, I told him it's not necessary to worry his ass about having a glorious wedding ceremony. Besides, I can also support him with what I had from my earnings. But it became obvious that Delroy was bent on doing his master's and had forgotten about our marriage plans, so I decided to support him and his plans. We will still get married anyway, I thought. So with the little savings I had, I supported Delroy, my fiancé, to comfortably pay his admission fees into Aston University. During his schooling, I continually supported him financially to complement the allowances the school offered him. We were very much in touch, and that brought some positive spirit in me to help him the most. All I thought was Delroy would soon be done with his master's and get a better and well-paying job, and we can finally have a better life. As of now, I think I was dumb to ever think that way. Well, to cut a long story short, 2 years later, my fiancé was done with his master's and secured a high-paying job. He earned double the amount he usually earned. I was happy that my sacrifice had finally paid off, but I realized that Delroy had changed towards me. Like any time I approached him with any issue concerning our marriage, he would just brush it away and give silly excuses that he was busy with work or he was tired and needed to sleep. This continued for months, and I decided to let him spill the tea. I told him to his face that I was sick and tired of him always ignoring issues concerning our marriage plans. When he finally decided to talk, he told me, can't I read between the lines, that he was no longer interested and that the whole marriage thing could not work between us. Like, wow. So this is what I get after all the sacrifices I made for him. So all the affections he initially showed me was all because of my money and what he would get from me to make his life better. I have never been so heartbroken the whole of my life. So I moved out of his house since he claimed he didn't want me anymore. But even at that, I told him I needed a refund of all the money I gave him since he now earns more than necessary. I kept demanding for Delroy to pay me back, but he refused, and even blocked me on all his social media handles so that I could not reach him again. Thinking about the whole issue makes me more heartbroken. So I took some time off work and went on a vacation to clear my head of all the mess Delroy put me through. Now here is the main issue at hand. It's been 2 years since Delroy and I broke up. Unfortunately for Delroy, he lost his job. As if that's not enough, he was also getting sued by the company he worked with for a fraud he committed. The fraud caused a major problem for one of the company's major clients, and it has become a court case and a whole lot of problems. As for me, I'm still in my lane trying to make it big with both my next relationship and career. But surprisingly, Delroy reached out to me after blocking me for 2 good years. Wow, this is amazing, right? The first thing that came to my mind was money, but I didn't mention it. So I asked him what he wanted, and he had a lot to say. I told him I'm not interested in any of his cock and bull stories, so he should go straight to the point. Or else I've got no time to be spared on an ingrate like him. It turns out he needed money to pay his attorney fees. He might even go to jail if he doesn't pay his lawyer before the next court date. So he needed my help after all that he did to me. Like, what an audacity he had to approach me for money again. I told him I could not offer him anything. Besides, he took me as a fool and used me for only his benefit. His selfishness has finally paid off, so he should receive whatever comes with good faith. Delroy has been nothing but a gold digger and now wants my help again. So I told him I now knew what to use my money for and it would not be an ungrateful and selfish person like him. I hung up on him and blocked him just like he did to me 2 years ago. I told the story to my colleague and she called me a cold-hearted bitch. I don't think I'm being unreasonable for refusing to help Delroy pay his attorney fees after he exploited me in the past. Please share your thoughts and comments. I will be glad to read them and also keep you updated on any recent happenings. Update. Thanks for the comments and thoughts. They were so helpful and they meant a lot to me. So surprise, surprise. The colleague knew my ex personally. No wonder she was so hurt. Yesterday I heard cops tried to arrest him but he fled. But trust me, he can't be on the run forever. People like him deserve to be taught a lesson. In this world, karma is real. And what goes around always comes around. Once again, thank you all for your lovely comments. You're not the a-hole, OP, and your colleague's judgment was nonsense and biased. You're not a cold-hearted bitch for refusing to help someone who took advantage of you. Delroy deserves absolutely nothing from you. Karma got him. Besides, he got himself into this. He was the one who decided to defraud a company that paid him well, instead of being satisfied with his earnings. He's facing the consequences of his actions, so let him. Take care, OP. Story 2. I, 28 male, have been a single dad to 2 kids, 6 male and 4 female, for the last 2 years. My ex-girlfriend, Kate, 27 female, is the mother of my children but has not been present in their lives for the last 2 years. She spent the last 2 years in either jail or rehab due to her drug addiction, heroin. When Kate and I started dating, I knew she used, but I was young and dumb and in love and didn't use my best judgment. She got pregnant young, and to her credit, she stopped using completely and was a doting, loving mother. After she got pregnant with our second, we got engaged and we were planning on wedding for a year after the birth. But after the birth of our daughter, everything changed. For the first 6 months or so, things were good and we were a happy family. But then Kate started going out with old friends, telling me she felt like she was losing who she was and needed to realize that she was also an independent person and not just a mother. I agreed that she needed to socialize and have a life outside of our family, but I was wary about the people she was hanging around with and expressed my concern to her. She assured me that she had put that part of her life behind her and she just wanted to be around friends again. Well, Kate started using again and got herself put in jail. She got out and went to rehab, but relapsed shortly after and went to jail again, this time for 12 months. During that time, I broke off our engagement and petitioned the court for full custody of our kids, and it was granted. We moved a couple towns away to get a fresh start, and my kids are now thriving in their new schools. And I have a better paying job. Now, Kate is out of jail and is living in a halfway house. She's working on getting an apartment and has told me she wants to be a part of her kids' lives again, and mentioned she wants partial custody. She said she was hoping to avoid too much drama in the courts and asked for my support on it. I told her I would fight her tooth and nail to keep full custody until she can prove to me that she isn't going to mess up again. I told her I will allow her to see her kids under my supervision and on my terms until the court tells me otherwise. She gave me a sob story about how much she's changed and she would never jeopardize her relationship with her kids again. But I told her all that talk doesn't mean a thing to me because I have zero trust in her. She called me an a-hole for depriving her of a relationship with her kids, and I told her she did that to herself. She said I can't permanently blame her for the mistakes she's made in the past, and I told her that she has a long road to gain back enough of my trust for me to even consider supporting partial custody, and that until the court tells me otherwise, I am fighting for full custody. I'm getting a lot of grief from her family and even my family about it. They all think I should give her a chance since she's their mother, as if that somehow erases the fact that she's been gone for 2 years. Not the a-hole OP. Don't fall for guilt trips. Just don't. Stay strong. Don't listen to her enablers. If her need to feel independent comes back and she wants to go out, hang around the wrong people and do drugs again, it won't be good for the kids. Keep sole custody. Discuss visitation rights with the courts so it's on record. She needs to sort out her issues in full before coming for the kids. Sorry if it is harsh, but it's true. The kids' mental health and welfare come first. Now for some comments. Not the a-hole. Absolutely do not relent. She's an addict and I would need to see years of being clean before I ever consider partial custody. She should recognize that this isn't about her, it's about the well-being of the kids. Maybe that will finally motivate her to get clean. Not the a-hole. You are protecting your kids. Why anyone thinks an addict is able to be a responsible parent fresh out of rehab is bonkers. The sad truth is that heroin addicts usually relapse. She needs a year or two of sobriety under her belt before she should be allowed in her kids' lives, and even then, it should start with supervised visitations. Recovery is hard. The first couple of years is a shit show. Not the a-hole. I am a man but took a similar path as your ex. Heroin, rehab, repeat. I lived in a halfway house for a while and I can say it's the only thing that kept me clean. Your ex is doing all the right things, but leaving a halfway house is like leaving a protective nest. It's scary and uncomfortable and filled with freedom and temptation. If I were you, I wouldn't grant any custody until she has been living on her own and stayed clean for an extended period of time. Story 3. I'ma keep this short. I, 17 female, needed more money, so I got a job and started working at a pretty big restaurant. The issue? A week ago, this lady came in. She had 3 toddlers with her and a baby that looked about 5 months old that she was breastfeeding. She came up and I got her seated, and she waited for her to be ready, but when the time came, she kept changing what she wanted. First it was sushi and then spaghetti. After that she just kept changing it and was wasting our product. She eventually settled on a dish and I got it for her. Halfway through her meal, she asked me if she could change her meal again. I explained that no, she could not. She was already halfway through the one she was eating. She said that her baby was being too hard on her and that she just needed something. I explained again that no, she can't change her meal, but she can buy something else. She got mad at me and told me I am a selfish bitch for not helping a breastfeeding mom. She took my name down, paid and dragged her kids out. My co-workers told me I didn't do anything wrong and that she was just using her mom privileges against me. My boyfriend agreed but said I could have just given her a freebie. My parents think I'm completely an a-hole. Now for some comments. Co-workers knew she was wrong and you were right. Parents likely have never worked in a restaurant and tell you that you were wrong. Not the a-hole. Don't think twice about it. Her breastfeeding is immaterial here and she shouldn't be using it as a stick to beat people with. She's trying to get to eat for as close to free as possible. Some people out there are users. She was a user. Not the a-hole. Listen to your coworkers. She was trying to get a freebie and she abused you for telling her what the restaurant's policy is. Your boyfriend isn't helping. It's a mistake to appease people who are essentially grifters. And it's possible you could lose your job by allowing the customer to rip off the restaurant. And your parents are the a-holes for not supporting you. Don't bother getting input from your parents about this sort of thing, and be wary of your boyfriend's advice. At work, you have to follow the rules of your workplace. It doesn't matter what opinions your friends and family have. It simply isn't their right to make that decision. I have noticed how freely people want to donate other people's time and money. I'm sure there will be plenty of future opportunities where people come to try to get free food from you. If your friends and family feel so strongly about giving meals to those who ask, they can certainly give you and your coworkers a fund to use to buy these people meals. I wonder how generous they will be if they are donating their own money.